most garbage thing I've ever seen, right? And the hilarious thing is the most garbage thing I've ever seen for like in like 1 week, right? Because goddamn, it's just garbage after garbage after garbage. Like, get the fuck out of here, right? Which is just insane. And the supply doesn't make sense. You're gonna put 7,000 in airdrops, and the 7,000 airdrop guys are supposedly, I think they're vesting for 6 months. Oh, get the fuck out of here, man. This is just sad, man. And it's just this market's gonna extract us. Like that's all we're getting here. Like, and don't get me wrong, like you could justify a 0.25 if you're doing maybe a 1,000 collection if you're cyberkongs, right? Or something like that. 0.25 on a 16K supply when there's 5,000 active wallets. Get the fuck out of here. Like straight up. Like this is hot trash. And the best part is from this hot trash came the other previous hot trash, which was garbage friends. Right? I'm sorry that you I'm sorry if you do got garbage bags, but goddamn, those guys insanely messed up their mint strategy, right? Steven noting the amazing utility about Genkai. This is literally what we know about Genkai. It will be a utility-enabled PFP that will hold unique characteristics of the CyberKong's ecosystem. No boundaries, no limit. Please give us your fucking money, man. Get the fuck out of here, man. Like this space, I'm telling you, this space is so depressing. So I just came from a founder dinner here in Paris. You know, I got to meet Zhao in person here, who runs the Jungle team. He's the CEO founder there. Awesome guy, just an amazing human, great connector. And yeah, there are a bunch of other founders there as well. You know, if you're familiar with Argus Labs and Dark Spirit or Dark Echelon. Really big game on the L2 side of the equation. Yeah, there are a few VCs and like, they were just asking me like what my opinion is on the ETH market. I'm like, dude, this ETH market is dumb as fuck. These first wave founders are destroying our market. They are straight up destroying this market completely. And honestly, it's sad, right? Because all we're gonna do is we're gonna extract, and all of you guys are just not gonna have any bags, right? Everyone is gonna get fucked, right? And like, my God, what the fuck are these people doing? What are they doing? Nothing makes sense. There's no logical founder that's gonna keep coming up and be like, hey, 16,000 supply, check. That sounds great in this market. Yes, go with it. Great. Then, oh, what? 0.25 E mint? Oh, you're right. That sounds exactly right. We should fucking have one of the highest price mints. Oh, no, but Ether did. Higher. Oh, Azuki did too. This looks cheap. Yeah, check. Right? Oh, and then we're going to airdrop 7,000 and make those guys hold for 6 months so our initial holders get fucked too. Yes. Check. Right? Like, get the fuck out. Like, guys, this is sad. On every level, none of this makes sense. There's no logic. There's no design, right? And the sad part, it's founder after founder after founder, right? Like, let's go to Garbage Friends, right? Oh, hey, let's do a 0.11 EMINT, even though, that's not awful. I'll give them credit. It's not the world's worst thing. And they at least kept low supply. But you know what? Let's fuck it all up by making 4 mint day windows. God, what's better than 1 mint day? 4 mint days, right? Like, oh, let's go. And then, of course, what happens? 4 mint days, not enough price pressure. So what do they have to do? Drop mint down to 0.065. Dude, that's the most fucking bearish thing you can do is cutting price, right? The only time I've seen cutting price work was hilariously, right? Actually, I don't even know when cutting price has worked. The only time I've ever seen it work was cut supply, where we saw the live cut supply of grapes. Like, grapes got saved, right? Which is kind of crazy, right? And oh my God, like, what we're seeing here at this point is that, essentially none of these guys know how to understand this market. Straight up, every founder is dumb that is right now minted thus far. These guys are all insane, right? And it doesn't even make sense. And they're pushing all this. This is why, guys, when someone tells you there's a mint and they won't tell you the mint price, right, ahead of time, like 1 week before mint, you're getting fucked. You're straight up going to get fucked. And these guys are fucking each and every one of you. don't fall for that shit, right? Like, don't. Like, if anyone is hiding that mint price, it means that they're not confident in their vision, right? And it means that they're going to try extracting the fuck out of you. This is shady. Because you know what sucks? All these motherfuckers who thought they were about to get access to the next ecosystem now are just going to get dumped on. Or they're going to be holding the bag on something where, guess what? This shit is not going to run. This shit is going to just straight up allow you to keep going down. And this is kind of the problem. And dude, like, you know what's sad about garbage friends too? Is like at least they corrected it and they're not massively cash extracting. But you know what sucks? Yo, have you seen the Invisible Friends price chart? Have you seen what they did to their fucking Genesis? Like, yo, that shit is sad too. Like, you guys don't realize all of this is sad. All of this. No, I don't want to see deals, OpenSea. Stop trying to give me your stupid thing. What's Invisible Friends at now? Ooh, okay. Invisible Friends now sitting at a 0.45 E floor. What is it? What was it the last 7 days? Didn't I see this take a nosedive? Oh, yeah. It fucking took a nosedive. So it was at 0.948 E 7 days ago, and it's now down to 0.45. Right? And again, it's on low volume, but yeah, that thing started right when this mint window opened, and oh man, it dropped 25% in the first day, and it's just been a nice little cascade down. Like, do you guys realize they just minted and they fucked up their own major collection? That is true, though, ICOBs. Dollar for dollar, Bored Ape is down more than everything. So, you know what? You're doing better than Bored Ape. We're doing better than Bored Ape. We all doing better than Bored Ape. Cairo, always with the right comments here as well. And man, this is kind of it. Dope Burger. I'm glad you got some profit out of Invisible Friends, man. Like, whew, it is brutal out here. And this is the thing that sucks, man, is that what ends up happening is that Garbage Friends just cycled up, Invisible Friends up, and now both of them are underwater. They just diluted both of their ecosystems with this play. Fucking awful design, right? If you are only holding an asset to get the next mint, and that's again what a lot of these companies are doing with their kind of design, you're going to see dumps, right? We saw this as well with Azuki. Azuki got dumped hard for part of that reason. A lot of people were buying on that front for the next airdrop and the next mint. And then as soon as they airdropped it to everyone, dump, right? As soon as Beans figured out, oh, we ain't getting shit. We just have to be able to pump this shit. Dump, right? What these guys are doing is that they're trying to leverage the existing enterprise value and they're trying to turn it into liquidity. That's not how any of this works, right? If these idiots keep doing this, you are straight up going to kill your collection, right? So Azuki got 40 million out, but they lost, what, 250 million in market cap? Fucking worst trade I've ever seen, right? Literally worst trade. You know, if we do the Invisible Friends calculation on this front, okay, how much did... So this is a 5,000 collection. Let's assume they brought 0.5, 2,500 ETH roughly, right? So 2,500 ETH in US dollars, right, is 5 million roughly, right? Just short. Yep. Great. So 4.73 million. Oh, come on, ETH. Go back to 2000, please. Okay, so they lost $4.7 million on their market cap, a 50% market cap capitulation. And in return, they brought in what? 6,000 at what? 0.065, right? Hold on, let's see if we do this math right. So they brought in 390 ETH. So they brought in 390 ETH in primary sales, roughly, if I'm doing my back of the napkin math right. And I'm sure it's even less than that because some of those are probably airdrops or free or discounts, right? They brought in 390 ETH on this play, and they lost a nice 2,500 ETH on that. Look at that. Look how amazing that is, right? Like these guys don't understand what the fuck they're doing because they're all desperate. And this is what you all want to understand. All these Web3 projects don't have any more money. They're all running out. So they're trying to do their last grab because they're worried this is going to be 6 to 12 more months, right, of grind. And it's probably true. It's 6 to 12 more months of grind. And this is a major reason why Tribe has been trying to figure out new ways of generating revenue that aren't cash extractive, right? And this is kind of the important thing is that, it's funny that when you look at this market, it's all bad, right? And I don't know how you have confidence in anyone, right? I'm actually so scared that, Ray and Nine Gag's gonna take out meme with a token. I don't know why you would ever do a token in this market. I hope he sees something that I don't see. God damn, that looks like the perfect inflection point for market capitulation, right? And this is kind of why it gets to a incredibly tough position overall, because what a lot of these guys don't realize is that this is the last time you should be launching anything on ETH. This is the worst time. This is the last ever moment you'd be like, oh, this is a good time to launch a new collection. Who the fuck is doing this? Right? Like, who the fuck is thinking, like, oh, hey. Do you guys realize that total active NFT ETH traders has dropped 75 to 80% in the last 4 months? Oh, yeah. Let's now do the largest supply we've ever launched in this market. Yeah, that sounds good. That seems super logical. That seems like, oh yeah, we're going to be the ones that are going to make it. That's what all these idiots think. That's honestly, they're idiots. I'm sorry. There's no other way around it. Right? What ends up happening here is that you're killing our market. You're killing ETH. I'm telling you, this it's scary, guys. I don't like I hate to be that type of person, but like straight up, it's scary because ETH is one bad leg. Like ETH NFTs is one leg away from this all falling down. Like you kick off one leg, bruh, this shit's gone. Like we won't come back for like 6 to 9 months, right? We have to wait till maybe April 2024, right? On the next halvening is maybe our best chance. Like maybe late Q1 is what you're gonna do. Like, bruh, this stuff's bad on ETH. Y'all, like I'm telling you, if there's any advice I can give any of you on this Max Payne, is start looking at other chains. ETH, ETH has abandoned you. ETH founders have fucked you over. ETH founders have extracted you, and they are awful builders. Know this. This market is so disappointing. If I could hit reset, I would, right? I straight up would hit reset. And that's the most important thing here is you have to understand is that whew, it's not going to work, right? Yeah, I mean, Wicklander's bringing up Kaiju. They're going to try an omni-chain play here. But I mean, I don't know why I told Dots not to launch this straight up. It's not good for his brand. Kaiju just announced that they're going to launch. The good thing, he's not cash extracting, and that's what I love about Nate. Like Dots, right? He's not a cash extractor, right? But the problem is he's going to try minting a 0.01 E, if I remember correctly, omni-chain experience where there's no right, there's no like actual speculative value on the asset. You're just getting like a few art pieces. Like, dude, this is not the time this market, right, wants to at all care about playing with other chains. This market is so fucking depressed, right? Like, this is not the time to launch that. And the problem is that he's going to launch it. He's going to get a little bit of interaction, right? And the problem is there's going to be no speculative yield coming out of his design. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying everything needs to be built for speculative design, but what you're recognizing here as well is that if you don't do it, you just get lost, right? Because if you don't have speculation in your play, you're just trying to build a experience. And I'll be honest, a lot of people don't want to pay 0.01 E for a one-off experience with no speculative upside. So this is what like Kaiju's going to struggle with, in my opinion, in that design. They're coming out at the wrong time in the market for it. The design looks really cool. Like I've actually seen a lot of it. It's just the wrong time. And this is what like most people don't realize. Like don't do anything on ETH. Don't do anything if you're an ETH-based project. Just sit there, sit still, right? Just Someone said Dimensionals is a good entry. Who said that, Art? I'm curious. Was it the one who accidentally got dumped Dimensionals right now? I love I love this as well too. But we're kind of this position right in this market, man. Like, nobody, no, don't do anything on ETH right now. Like, the only thing you should consider on ETH is free mints. That's it. Those are the only things that are going to work in the next like 6 months on ETH right now. Free mint, small supply. It's what we've always been preaching. Those are the only ones that are going to have an opportunity in this design in this market. Everything else is hot garbage. So hot garbage, right? And there's not a single mint I'm looking forward to that is not a free mint. There's literally not a single non-free mint that I'm interested in, right? We're very thankful. I'm not saying we're biased because of this because we have access, but I'm straight up telling you guys, you are straight up lucky that we got such a large allocation of Weebox and such a large allocation of Jungle, right? I don't know exactly where those floor prices are going to land, right? I don't know, but all I know, fucking free mint with competent fucking teams. These guys are fucking going to make it. They're going to give you a chance at an opportunity here as well. Everything else, fuck, dude. I'd walk away. I straight up would walk away from every paid mint, right? Honestly, I don't understand why anyone's thinking about this on ETH. And like I'm trying to tell you guys is like, go spend some time on ordinals for sure. And again, ordinals is still rocky. Like, I want to be very clear. Like, I'm super bullish on ordinals long term, but like ordinals super rocky right now still, right? It's still finding its product market fit, right? And you want to really figure out where that is. The hilarious part, ICO Beast, is Tribe has the biggest bags in dimensionals. We have the largest exposure out of anyone here. We are technically the second largest holder behind another diamond holder in fucking Pranksy, right? So we all go down together on this front. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love Dimensionals because at least for Dimensionals, it was such a net profit for everyone in our community is a huge, huge thing. Yeah, Pranksy's a diamond holder. He's actually in chat quite a bit now these days, which is great. He's been shilling us. We've been minting Pranksy stuff. Pranksy's max minting a bunch of shit, and he's letting us know what's up. I don't know. I minted like 3 things Pranksy told me about here as well, which is pretty cool. I'm probably just his exit liquidity. No, but he's actually, it was pretty funny. He max minted a bunch of stuff where he was telling us he was like max minting stuff like 500 plus, right? Like pieces, which is really, really dope. So he's having fun trying to be his whale games as well. And it's so fun to see a guy like that because, he plays on a totally different level, right? And he's a guy who has like really deep conviction on certain things. And, it's got this, this mindset of how big traders really think through as well too, right? And, great to see that. We have a lot, like people don't realize, we have huge diamond holders. Like we got Pranksy, we got Dingaling, we have Wades, we have OX Wave, we got ballers all around. We got Virgilius. I still call out Virgilius. Virgilius is my baller all the way through. I love Virgilius. We got Frenchie, we got ICO Beast, we got them all. We going to the top. But you guys all say you're poor as fuck holding $8,000, $10,000 assets. Get the fuck out of here, right? You guys are killers on this front, right? So, the big thing here is that you have to understand almost everyone is struggling, right? Everyone is struggling to understand what this market is and where it's going. And it's going to be tough, man. And it sucks because I'm saying this because I'm about to do an AMA for a paid mint next week. It is a paid mint I actually like more than others, but not a paid mint that is actually going to have speculative value, which I want to be very clear. We're going to host the Etihad Airways team. They actually have a really interesting way where you could mint their asset and then get you could actually stake to earn miles, which is I think a really cool way for an existing startup to come into this space, and you'll also get benefits in their ecosystem. But I do want to share this. It's fucking funny that I'm saying don't buy any paid mints, but I am going to do an AMA with them. But I want to be very clear when that AMA comes through, right, in this kind of design. But what you're realizing here, just generally in this design, is that this market is just going to give you max pain right now on ETH. Uh, ETH has lost its control, right? ETH has lost its narrative. ETH has lost its cool. ETH ETH Founders was the dream, and all we got was like a nightmare, right? That's really what it is. Like, I look back on this wave one, and it's just brutal. It's just brutal. Like, we need a total reset on ETH, right? Like, I really mean it. I don't know if there's anything worth surviving from the first wave into the second wave. I think maybe the only thing worth surviving is CryptoPunks, right? That's really about it, right? And this is kind of like what you're realizing here in this design is that these guys need to change up their game here as well. If we really want to see this market go right, and I don't know, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know where this market is going to play. I don't know. I just have such little confidence now, and it sucks, right? And I think that's there's so many opportunities. Oh, Freeman, if you think gaming projects are gonna win, oh Freeman, you're in for a hard time. I would like most gaming projects I'd be fading, right? Unless they know how to do small supply and know how to build like real value, like I'd fade anything. Jungle's the only one I would consider. Oh man, in Jungle we just had a good and before our dinner we also had like a great marketing call. Like Jungle's figuring out some really, really, really good stuff, right? Yeah, I mean, don't be wrong. There's sure some long-term well-funded guys, but I mean, like Wildcard's well-funded, but no one gives a fuck about Wildcard, right? Like, do you guys play Wildcard? Right? Overworld's well-funded, but Overworld realized they can't actually launch, so they're now just going to do Web 2 games mainly, right? All these guys are going to like pull out from this market because again, what you're realizing here is gaming was a myth, right? Gaming was just an extra step for speculative trading. Gaming was a myth to trick everyone thinking, hey, buy now and someone else in the future, gamers in the future, are going to give you, right, your liquidity back, or they're going to pay you for their assets. Nah, get out of here. That shit was never real. We all got tricked. We all got tricked by, who we got tricked by the most? Oh, good old Axie Infinity tricked the market. Although Axie was on to more things right than they get credit for, and they deserve a lot of credit. I want to be very clear. They did a lot of good things, but they tricked the whole market into thinking out there like, oh, don't worry, this shit's gonna scale. This scale's gonna scale, right? On the fact that on where this is going, right? And boom, all this stuff died. Digi's not even close to launching a game. Like I know people are trying to like support Digi at this point, but Digi's just nosedive. There's enough support though at 3 ETH, which is kind of crazy on their Genesis. But again, they have way too much. Yeah, Kabi, are you not troubled in the future of Tribe based on the fact that ETH NFT is dead at the moment? No, man, that's the amazing thing. I'm like, we were built for the bear. Like, diamonds know this. Diamonds have a lot of insight on what we're doing, and we are like straight up built for this bear, right? We are actually a project that is not requiring to be profitable off of paid mints, right? We don't, dude, do you guys realize we have an active mint right now and I don't talk about it? Because I'm not here to juice it. If you find organic utility on our open mint right now, you could go mint it, right? But I haven't even tweeted about it. I haven't done anything. You know how like like how opposite we are in our launches for a mint? We have a 0.01 E open mint, fucking any wallet can get it, open for 3 weeks, and guess what? We don't fucking even talk about it, right? We don't do anything about it, right? And what you end up getting here, right, is this insane upside of, hey, you get for 0.01 E, you get 5 mints, right? Or 3 free mints and 2 potential paid mints if you want some physicals. And also at the same time, right, we're just slowly working our way up, right? And our target here was 1,500, and like we're almost there. Killam just showed it, and on an organic thing. And that's the crazy thing is like we're not even pushing it out. We don't need you guys to scale this stuff out, right? We don't need you guys to pay us money if you don't find the value. I don't care about any of it. What I care about is if you find organic value in what this ecosystem is built, you can make the choice of $19 is worth it on this second soul, right? And here's the best part. It's not even a mandate. If you have Soul Season 1, you're still good, right? That's the amazing thing. It's a fully optional second mint, right? Like, which is so insane. If I needed your fucking $19, I would be fucking out there doing an AMA every day. Soul's the best thing you ever gonna get. Get a soul. Everyone needs a soul. You guys need to get a soul. Do you have a soul? Do you have a soul? We all need a soul. That's what I would be doing every fucking day if I wanted your fucking money in that way. But we don't design like that, right? We don't design at all like that. What do we design for? It's like, hey, here's some utility. We think it's pretty cool. If you want to continue to get it, great, here it is. If you get value out of these conversations, the interactions, the access, the relics, the AMAs, all of this stuff, and you want some valuable, if you want some potential NFT assets too, you can all do it. And that's the beauty of what we're trying to do. Like, and it's funny because we even get FUD, right? They're like, hey, when I say FUD, there were like 6 people here that talked about it for like 2 minutes and then they got sad, right? It's like, oh, I gotta buy it. You're forcing us to buy a season 2 soul. I'm like, no, if you listen, you don't need fucking anything, right? All I said is if you are smart and if you are spending a 50 hours listening to me a fucking season, I'm telling you, if you're spending 50 hours a season listening to me, the smartest thing you can do, I'm just trying to be helpful to you guys. The smartest thing that you can do is have a season 1 and a season 2 soul paired together. If you're spending that time, right? Like, if you're going to spend 50 hours and you don't think it's worth $19 to compound that shit, like, what the fuck are you doing in NFTs? Like, stop wasting your time listening to this shit. Right? Like, if you don't feel that value, your ROI is literally built for you as a user who's staying here for 20, 30, 40, 50 hours a season. You are the perfect candidate to buy both souls. You're going to get tons of value out of that. How do you not realize that? And they're like, no, it's FUD. We only have to buy one. I'm like, bro, you only have to buy one. What have you lost? What have you lost by not buying the second one? I don't know, but I feel you want to buy a second soul. You haven't lost shit. Get the fuck out of here, right? And that's the thing is that this market doesn't want to educate itself on the smart decisions. And that's the other problem here as well, right? Is that this whole market is also dumb on the other side. Like, I want to be very, very honest, right? Founders are dumb. Dude, holders are dumber. Right? Like, holders are straight up dumber, right? And that's the other problem you have here, right? Is that you get a lot of these people in. Ooh, season 2 pendants. Probably tomorrow. Like, I think probably tomorrow here, right? Which is pretty cool. And yeah, dude, those huge win for people who bought season 2 soul and won Genesis soul in auction. Amazing. Like, we still give you opportunities to get Gen 1 soul if you're active. How amazing is that? Right? And like, this is what people don't see. Man, you're going to get a lot of hot quotes from me today. It was just so daunting here as well. Yeah, relic generators will start in August. So the way, if you own both season 1 and season 2 soul, you're going to get the relic generator on a monthly basis. And then also diamond, you'll get your own relic generator, which is dope. And then also you guys are going to get slugs of relics as well for season 1 and season 2. For those of you who have it too. So, we're finding really cool ways. Those are just coming up because, again, you guys don't need relics right now. There's not much in the marketplace, bro. There's not much. We got a few more Weebox left. We only got a few more jungle. Like, y'all don't realize already through auctions, we put in 130 jungle. You guys realize that just through auctions? Like, we put 130 jungle out there, and already I think we put 50 Weebox here. Like, yo, that's crazy. Like, we are giving some of the best allocation out here, and it's all available, and it's all open to you. Who the fuck is getting 100+ jungle out there? I'll tell you the truth, nobody. Nobody except Tribe, because this is Tribe's village partnership. This is how we thrive in the fucking bear. We built Village to publish other projects to get you guys upside over and over and over again. This is amazing. And then we have still our first party content. And then you ask, oh, aren't you worried about ETH? Like, I'm definitely generally worried about ETH, but I'm not worried about Tribe. Because you know what we did? We fucking hedged. We built literally, dude, I think we're going to put out the best fucking looking pixel art collection on Ordinals. Like, we're coming for it. We are going insanely for that, like that swing. And that's kind of the amazing thing about this design is our entire community will go in any direction, right? Like just any direction here as well. And that's kind of the amazing thing is that I've built a loyalty with each and every one of you. Like, dude, we just did a spontaneous fucking AMA. It's 1 a.m. for me. We're about to get 200 people up in this shit. You guys realize I could take you anywhere, right? Like, we could take you anywhere you want, right? Which is going to be crazy. So as long as I give you loyalty and I give you guys access, you guys are going to follow me to the promised land, right? Promised land, right? Which is going to be great. Yep, there will be a few Ronin coming in through auctions, but we will only allow Ronin to come through auctions when we publicly announce our mint price, right? Because we want you to understand what you're getting. We're not here to fuck you over, right? That's not how we're going to play this game here. So it will come. You will have opportunity as well, and you're going to have to scale this year as well too, right? And this is kind of where it's a really, really fun scenario. Dude, the crazy thing, Steven, is I drank half a cup of wine. Bro, that's it at dinner. I was just so riled up as I just kept looking at all this data and I kept looking, ETH CCs happening out here in Paris. And I'm just like, does anyone in Web3 actually care about their users? Like, that was like literally the tipping point that I was like running into. I was like, does anyone actually care? Right? And that's kind of the other thing here, right? Is that very few people actually care, right? And this is kind of the bigger problem in the end, right? Is that, this market generally is not ready to take on the responsibility that matters, right? And no one actually legitimately cares about, from the top projects right now, right? Like, that's kind of the other thing. Like, Freeman, you might think there are a ton of projects that care, bro. Like, please list me some projects. And are you going to say, like, small ass projects that have no market cap? Sure. Go ahead and list those out. But show me a top tier project that legitimately care, that had good allocation of capital, that delivered a way high ROI, like meaningful ROI over expectations. I really would love to hear this, bro, because I went through the fucking list and it's sad. Yuga fucking cash extracted us and started this bear from other side. Like, they're the reasons why we're in this bear market, and they let $100 million burn in gas. Fuck those guys, right? Straight up, fuck those guys, right? Is that what you're realizing here is, yeah, that's true, Art Loft. I think that's a good point, right? Is that, is there's this kind of opportunity, right? On this front. Sure, Freeman, but go ahead, put like, the whole thing is we're talking about top tier projects here. That's literally all we're talking about, right? That's the whole conversation here, Freeman. So go ahead, tell me any projects you care about. Like, really, I really want to know what you care about, Freeman. What is a good project that you think is actually building on your behalf? Like, I'm actually very interested on that front because I would be very curious. And also I'm curious, like, diamond users, like diamond holders, what are projects that you're actually bullish on ETH that you think have been building at a good level, at the level and delivering the expectations back to their holders? I am like, legitimately, I'm curious what people would say here as well too on this kind of design here, right? Pixel Vault's the first one you said. Get out of here, Freeman. We can't even be friends. Get out of here. Pixel Vault, are you kidding me? Why would Pixel Vault be top of your list? Like, dude, I mean, like, the other ones I'm okay with. Wolf Game, I agree. Even though I don't think their game's going to scale. But Infinigot, Cool Cats, no. We can't even be on the same team, bro. Cool Cats? Cool Cats? Oh my god. Cool Cats? I'm sorry, Cool Cats? You could love these projects. Cool Cats has fucked you over. Cool Cats has literally been the most disappointing project I've ever fucking seen. Like, dude, Cool Cats? Like, oh, you're killing me. Like, don't get me wrong. I can maybe defend your other ones. And don't get me wrong. Like, I want to be honest. Like, I want to give, like, Freeman, hey, I appreciate you answering it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I really do appreciate you answering this stuff. Right. And what I think is, like, so interesting, right, is like, I think Cool Cats have been the worst executive team for, since the last poll. They've massively mismanaged that. They have delivered nothing of value. They've gotten cash extracted from their partnership in Animoca. Like, Cool Cat should not be on your list. You might love the art, but that is a fucking awful team. Like, I'm going to be very honest. And I know how awful that team is because I've talked to that founding team and I've talked to their primary investors. And I was even considering a role with that organization. Cool Cat should not be on anyone's list. Pixel Vault is trying. I want to give, like, Pixel Vault, like, a huge chance here. Like, they are trying. I don't think it's going to be interesting, right? Which is really, really compelling. It's crazy, dude. I'm not even drunk, dude. I'm a tank. It takes me way more drinking. I'm just, like, lit up, right? That is really interesting. You know what? Like, Lemon Boy, I would really love to learn more about Citadel. I would love to chat with you. This name has come up, and I'll be honest, I don't have any exposure to Citadel here. So I would love to learn a little bit more about, like, why you're bullish on that. That's actually amazing. A lot of people have brought that up. I do want to get a little bit more. Oh, you want to come up and you're going to tell me about it? Dude, Lemon Boy wants to come up on stage. Let's do it. I don't bring many people up on stage these days. Ooh. Tell us, Lemon Boy. Tell us about Citadel.
How's it going, Saint?
Hey, it's going good, man. How about yourself?
Really quick. Let me switch to my laptop.
Yeah, take your time.
You hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you perfect, man. Okay, link me Citadel. What do you want me to look at? And then give us all, like, this is time for we're gonna do these sessions where diamonds get to shield their projects, and everyone but Frenchie and ICOBs can come up because I know they're only gonna shield dimensional bags at this point. But now, tell me about Citadel, man. I'd love to understand here.
I'm gonna DM it to you because I don't actually want to rate their Discord or anything like that with the folks that are in here right now because, like, honest to God, they're like just not about that. But reason why I like them. Okay, let's see. So found out about them a long time back, right? It was because they ended up being they only ever did one collab ever, right? And that was with Ether Orcs. Roughly, it's probably going back like a year and 8 months now, something like that.
Yeah.
Right. So project gets shared there. They're tight with those builders because they're very, like, legitimate builders themselves.
Is there a Twitter for them? What am I looking at? I'm trying to literally search for. I literally know nothing about this project.
I sent you their Discord.
Over
DM.
DM. Oh, got it.
And so essentially, they're very much so, like, a little bit with the meta at the time. They were doing one collab, not really about that though, and just kept on building. Right, there was announcements. They do massive updates on everything that they've developed every 1.5 months. The artwork is extremely impressive. Their game design and concepts are extremely impressive. The fact that they've never actually released anything, despite kind of being underground for over 1.5 years after deciding that they don't care about that, it impressed me. The thing that impressed me the most is actually what first pissed me off, is that they did collabs, they gave out whitelists, right? They then decided that that's all really, like, fucking stupid and everyone in there was a grinder and took away whitelists from everyone in the Discord. Collab project doesn't matter. And if you had whitelists, it was gone. They were going, like, they simply went under. They kept on building the entire time and are now very, like, strict about whether or not they actually want someone in the community, period. The community that actually still is there is very organic. The people that actually want to be there spend time there. iChat in there. I've gotten great advice about so many like different things. I've gotten like one of the guys made a full workout plan for me based off of my like fucking specific macros, the equipment I have available in my home, all that sort of stuff. And we just chat. Everyone in there is like extremely intelligent, and it's effort. That's what I see from them all the time. It's just effort coming out of that. Zero interest in like filling anyone in when they're going to release. They're going to release when they want to release. And it is just really like their philosophy of like wanting to build at the end of the day.
And what are they building exactly? Like, really cool. First of all, appreciate it. Love seeing that. I love that they're kind of going against the grain here as well. So, like, what are they building? Is it a actual game, or what am I looking at?
It's a legitimate game in the and what they're aiming for is, I mean, it's sort of like a mixed on-chain game with like the strategy risk elements. But what it really boils down to is like an effort towards building a Web3 version of EVE Online, right? And that's because everyone in there were massive EVE Online, just addicts essentially.
Yeah.
And what they've done over the time is they just slowly, through their like natural user acquisition and honestly, like, sort of not giving a fuck about anyone who comes in, they just have naturally acquired other engineers and developers who have hopped on their team just through the Discord and just continue to build with them. They don't accept collabs. They try to like get Merit to get in touch with them, and then they did touch base. But when they heard that like there was a desire for any sort of allocation on the tribe side, it's just a no-go for them because that's not how they do things, and they're not going to give whitelists out to anyone unless they really think it's a deserved thing. And I respect it. People, when like projects come in, like yesterday, someone from like Bears Deluxe was in the Discord looking like, hey, asking like, hey, I do collabs for Bears Deluxe. Is there anything I can like submit around here? And honestly, the founders just like kind of started making fun of them in the general chat, and like I like that. I see something like that, and I get it. Most of the time, people in there are not talking about the project whatsoever. They have a very, very sophisticated Discord bot that they set up, similar to like what was going on with Reapers and the denial of anything like Good Morning related and anything like that. They built a very sophisticated Discord bot that is essentially, if you have any of the keywords, it removes them, and there's ways to retrieve what you said in there if you want to like repost it in an appropriate way. They have like community members that have now released like a novella on Amazon about their project or the lore behind it, and they collaborated with that guy on that. And if anyone like in the Discord wants it, like you can get a free code from him. And it's all around. It's like it took the FOMO away, essentially, because they just stopped caring about FOMO in there, and they just know that they're going to build what they want to build. I think they're also like from a pixel art perspective and what they have going on there, it's super impressive.
Yeah, I think the art's great. I actually love these bots. I'm literally taking screenshots and sending it to our Discord designer and be like, yeah, we should copy this shit. This is great. No, I appreciate it. I love that FOMO. Like, I actually do the same thing in our Discord when anyone comes in, like, oh, who can we talk to about collabs? I just respond, nobody. Right? Because like I don't want to talk to anyone. But no, I love this because you almost have to keep your head down, right? And it's the same thing like we try to tell everyone, right, with our own shit. Like I could not give a fuck when someone's like, oh, when are you gonna win? Like suck a dick. That's what I'm gonna say back to it, right? And like I get aggressive at this point because like no one is trying to protect the product, right? No one is trying to protect the experience. All they're trying to do, all these users are straight up trying to just extract your time so that they can make profit, right? And it's such a shitty way to build community. It's such an awful way to build community, and you have to build counters to it, right? And I love what you're noting there because at least what you know is the people that are in this collective, right, this tribe, right, that I would say, right, they're all tribes, you at least want to be in the trenches with them. And that already makes it a better product experience than 99 out of 100 things. And then if the game's at least somewhat good, really interesting. Like we were actually talking about EVE Online tonight because we were talking to the Dark Labs founder, right? Which is like, they're trying to build some MMO stuff. And I think that is actually a really interesting thing here as well in that design. But really cool. I'm in the server. I'll try to connect with the community. I appreciate you shilling something because I think it's way interesting to find new stuff at this point in this market. And I'm so depressed, right? Like I am like depressed when I look at this market. Like the only thing that keeps me going is the shit that we're building here, right, internally. And I want to find more people like this because I want to find founders like that as well, right? And it's kind of been this element as well. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not actually depressed myself. Like, I love my life and I live a really good life on that front. I just see it in chat. People are like, don't be depressed. Don't worry, Freeman. I'm good, man. I appreciate it. But what I really love here, right, is that there is still hope, right? But I also have to collectively protect you guys to understand, though, is that if you're looking for anything this short term, right, this market is really rough, right, on that front. And like same thing, Freeman. I appreciate you saying that stuff. Like, and I appreciate like the different perspectives people hold. Like, I definitely have a different view on half the projects on that list. But really, what I'm much more interested in is like also trying to understand is that how do you find the projects that will get through there? I hope G Funk is right. I actually don't. I'm not bullish on Reboot to be very transparent, but I am bullish on the fact that he's trying, right? Which I want to give him a lot of credit on as well too. Is like he straight up is trying quite a bit, and I really want to see more individuals try. And again, they have a huge problem with their DAO and the amount of assets they have there. I just don't know if it's going to scale through. But same thing with like I think Cool Cats is on the weaker side. But no, Lemon Boy, I appreciate you on this front. Is there any other projects that you're kind of excited about?
No, I really honestly I kind of hate Web3 outside of Tribe and that other one I mentioned. Like honestly, I sold everything at one point, and I have zero regrets about it because it ended up being a really good financial decision because it was like before FTX. I came back to the space because the idea behind it, and I think what it could be is very addicting to me. It's like everything that I like, really loved growing up and like cherished. So I mean, I still have faith in it. I'll still throw money at it. Like I don't mind, but at the same time, I'm only doing it if I really see something special at this point. Right? I see like in you, Saint, I see something very special. I've said that since the beginning. I have like a write up I did about this project for some folks from like I don't know like 6 months back, and it's mostly about you as like an operator, just because I don't think anyone operates in this space with a realistic. It doesn't seem like everyone here likes to treat Web3 as this whole different culture. It's like we're not corporate, all of that other sort of stuff. There's an element of corporate life that is beneficial for every company in terms of delivery and things of that nature that is like severely lacking. And no one actually fights. Like my biggest problem is like no one fucking fights for my ETH, right? At the end of the day, people just want it. They want to take it. And I'm so sick of that because it's just been so many projects where like, even if I like really believed in them, right? And the thing that got me really jaded is EtherOrcs. Talking about a lot, like honest to God, when EtherOrcs shut down, I cried. I cried because I hung out with those people all the time. I work from home. Like I have free time. Like sure, I do shit on the side, but I spend time in that Discord. Like I love those folks, and it was just like really like a great atmosphere, and something was genuinely being built. The only thing that I miss there is that something that you've called out is it's especially like I work with engineers a lot of my own life, and yeah, if you know how to build is one thing, but knowing how to like market and knowing how to actually deliver on that based off of what people truly want, it's just such a different like skill set altogether. And on top of that, like being in a situation where even if I loved the project and I saw that like communication wasn't a consistent thing is such a general red flag for me. And why I appreciate things here is just because even if I can't attend everything, which is a rarity in the space, right? Because most people are doing, 1 AMA a month and, movie night every week, which I don't fucking know why I would ever be showing up to a movie. I don't care how much I like a community. I'm not sitting there in a Discord watching a movie with other folks. That's where I draw the line. Okay.
I was just about to unveil our movie night, man. I'm so hurt.
Oh, such a shame. Oh, actually, no. Hold up. Maybe there's something there. Oh, yeah, I do.
Oh, shit, dude. I totally agree with you, though. Like, it's really funny.
No fucking way.
It's just funny. Like, people, like, lots of people request that shit, right? And they like say, like, why don't we watch like famous like fantasy movies like Lord of the Rings here? I'm like, bruh, like, just go watch it at home. It's like free on those channels. Like, why do you want to fucking do it with us on the shittiest streaming service as well, too? But it's funny, man. Like, and I appreciate you sharing this, dude. I mean, Oh God, Ether Org hurt too, man, and it sucked because I actually was close to the founders. I was trying to help them through it, but the same thing. They didn't want to market, and they didn't. The crazy thing is they didn't want to make money, right? They really didn't. They were just hoping venture would save them, and it sucked because they were the best builders in this space for L1, like gaming. Like they were the best builders, and they were so far ahead. And it sucks to see that, but that was like also like a big thing, like a big light bulb moment of like, fuck, Web3 games are like gonna have the worst time moving forward if they don't solve this here. And that's kind of the other problem, right? Because I think all these other brands are now trying to add games in, and that's why like I'm very curious because like I'm very curious to see how Metapixel, like Pixel Vault, Meta Hero pulls off their game. I'm very intrigued to see how Forgotten Runes pulls off their game. But like in a weird way, those are actually very bearish elements for me at this point, right? Because if Ether Orcs couldn't make it, why do we think anyone else can? Right? Like I mean this very sincerely because they were building at a very native level, and it was a good game. Like yeah, the L2 kind of sucked of doing. The L1 gas kind of sucked initially, and then when you went to L2, there was a lot of transactions. But outside of that, everything was great. Like it was actually a really good dungeon crawler, man, and they couldn't make it. I don't know why anyone has faith that these other kind of like turn-based RPGs are going to make it. And I say this as someone who has a fucking playable turn-based RPG for Lost Realms, and I'm telling you all, I don't even know if it's ever going to see the day of light at this point, right? Because I don't know if this market will ever fucking want it, right? You almost want the dream than you want more than any of this stuff, and that's the other hard part about this market is that we've over incentivized everyone to care about the speculation than anything else, right? Real products don't win. That's the sad part about this market right now, right? And
Oh yeah,
and it's
yeah,
brutal.
100%. It's just like in terms of like actual product delivery, it's so relevant. Like right now, it's. I mean, I think there's still an argument to be made that like delivery on art could potentially mean something, but even then, I don't. Like you look at like what we had like the Frankie's Diner or whatever that didn't like pull through whatever. But at the same time, that guy. I don't know what happened. I didn't listen to any of the talks, but my general consensus is like it's just kind of shit, right? At the end of the day,
Yep.
and my other big issue is that it's too many vultures. It's way too many vultures in a space with like. Granted, like there is a lot of money flowing through here, but like I mean, I know you can't like say anything sane, but at the same time, like folks like Gabe, right? That guy, he did Ether Orcs dirty. They were banking on that marketing and like collab and partnership, and he didn't push anything on the Ether Orc side. And those guys, I spoke to the founders, right? And they were just like so like heartbroken about how like cruel and cutthroat he ended up being about stuff at the end of the day, since it was all supposed to be like a bonding thing over like free mint, like on-chain gaming project and how important that is. But I mean, he's like pivoted like 4 times since then, so I don't think it matters too much. But it's just a shame.
It sucks, man, and that's exactly it, dude. And dude, I told them about what was going to happen with that partnership. They didn't believe me. I told them exactly how it was going to play out, and the founders didn't believe me. I'm like, no, 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 he's really into this. Like, this is going to be huge. I'm like, bro, you're just another like notch in his belt here, right? In terms of like trying to get 30 other partners. I mean, what even happened with Digi plus? What was it? What's the? I mean, so it was Digi plus Castaways first. Then it was what Ether Orcs, and then it was what's the bunnies? What's that fucking company with the 3D?
Fluff?
Not Fluff. The other one, not aren't they bunnies? What? Not bunnies. Rabbits. What? Oh, they're based in L.A. One of Hooligans. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. They're not bunnies. I'm sorry. I don't know what the fuck they are. But I remember Digi was with Hooligans. I don't remember what even happened with that. Like, and Hooligans is dope. Like, I think they work a lot really hard. But I don't even know what happened with My Pet Hooligan, like partnership with Digi as well. And those are all going to be like super cash extractive or like one-way deals, right? And it was Gabe trying to get to 1 million followers. That was it, right? And that's what the march was, and everyone became collateral damage all the way through. And like, look, dude, like it sucks because there's a lot of people who are thinking about this as well. And what you're realizing in the end is that very few people want to actually be here like in a legitimate way, right? And I think that's the hardest part. Actually, I see Ham let me bring up Ham too, because Ham's on the Castaways team, or was the artist for the Castaway squad. Ham, what you thinking about all this shit, man? We're just kind of going ham ourselves, but I'm curious to get your thoughts here.
Hey, what's up?
Not much, man. Just shitting on games and products. How about you?
Living in the game product world. So I'm having fun.
How are things? How are things at Castaway?
Delayed, which is fine, honestly. We ran into a gameplay issue more than anything else. So we shut
On
down
mobile,
on mobile. Yeah, so we
Yeah.
shut down our WebGL version because we couldn't scale it basically.
Yeah.
People
Was it
were
the
building
concurrency
islands too
problem?
big. Pardon?
Was it the concurrency problem on WebGL, like getting too many like users in the same scene,
Yeah,
or
it
what?
was costing
Yeah.
us like $30,000 to $40,000 a month, I think, to run it.
Fuck yeah.
But anyway, we wanted to go mobile anyway, so
Yeah.
we switched the whole thing to Unity, ported it over. Ran into a bunch of bugs. We launched in our test markets. We did Canada, Ireland, and another colony probably. We had 2 or 3 pretty big bricking engineering issues that made us realize we need to hire a head engineer who's built a full game before. But pretty much those were our biggest issues. We got close to the metrics we wanted to see. But we had one that was terrible. One stopped anybody in the Google Play Store from being able to sign up for the game, which sucked. So that took like 50% or 40% of the people who wanted to sign up. And we had a really convoluted um, onboarding process. So the tutorial took like hours for people, and you could easily brick it and die and like lose all your items, and that just stopped people in their tracks. So that really skewed a lot of our metrics. But we realized that very quickly, and the good thing that we have is we had a game that people really like and they're waiting to play it. It converts well, and converted well with our metrics converted well anyway with the people who did play, and we realized what people liked was coming back. Like once we realized once they got to the point where they could plant something and then had to water that would they would come back day after day to do those kind of repeatable tasks. So once we figured that out, we realized what we had to do, but we want to do it right. You know what I mean? And we have
So
enough runway.
what does that mean then? Like, is it just getting the mobile game fully ready for launch? Is that the thing that's just the focus now?
Yeah, there's a lot of bugs in the mobile game, and it's
Yeah.
beyond the level of our 2 lead engineers right now, who were not engineers to begin with and taught themselves, and they came really far on their own. But I think we're looking for a head of engineering right now who can come in,
Good thing is
streamline those bugs,
the
and
good
get
thing
us
is you guys
moving.
got money. You still got venture capital, which is
Oh,
great.
we've
Yeah.
got like 18 to 36 months of runway still to, depending on how we want to, go about it.
What's
Um,
what's the strategy though? Like going mobile, is it IAP revenue then you're going to optimize for? Like what? How do the NFT assets play a role? Is it the land ownership and people play, and then there's like a micro barren economy, or like what does that
I
look
mean,
like at a high level?
it's gonna be smaller than originally probably planned. Because it doesn't convert. I mean, in order to even get in the Apple Store and to get approved to launch the app, I mean, we had to like take mention of all NFTs out of our Discord to get that approval. So we had to basically like say, oh yeah, we don't have anything to do with NFTs here. We had to call them collectibles and change like the Discord channel. So they exist and they're there. The idea right now is to get the game working and running, and it has that infrastructure in the back end. And right now, I mean, the idea is that it will be always all the NFTs will be free. They'll be dropped to you in game. They'll probably at the beginning just take the form of wearables and rare items that can be traded or sold and dropped to you. That's the idea right now. We can input the islands that have been dropped because the islands possess rare resources. There is a very small supply of those islands. So the idea of figuring out how to integrate those in after the fact is like it's like the 15th thing we have to think about right now, because the first thing is getting this game up, getting it, getting people playing it, and having it in all the markets that we want it in, and getting those metrics that we need to see, and then the integration of those NFTs can kind of come after that, because we kind of put those blocks in place to have them there when we need them. Now, are the people in our Discord happy? No. Do they
Of
feel
course,
left behind?
speculative. We
Of
need some
course,
speculative returns, man. What are you doing now? I
of
know what you
course.
mean.
But if we did that, we wouldn't be able to make a game in the App Store. We wouldn't be able to make a game on Google Play. We wouldn't be able to make a game that could hopefully reach, 1 million people playing it like the investors want. And that's the disconnect. And that's what people don't understand, right? Because we could have stayed in WebGL, and we had a lot of people playing in WebGL when it was at its height, when people were playing the game and getting free airdrops. But that's not what people invested in the game for, right? They didn't they don't want a game that, at its max, like 10,000 people will come in and play. They want something much bigger. So unfortunately, that means you have to say, all right, NFT people, you're gonna have to wait a little bit. There's, probably 1,000 of you, and you're gonna be angry, but I mean, there's a bigger kind of picture here, and
I mean,
we have
that's
to
the
keep moving
challenge.
forward.
Yeah, I
I have
mean,
a,
that's
I have
the.
a question for you. Oh no, go ahead, Sam.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
With what you were mentioning there, Ham, something that's kind of like interesting to me is the fact like having to scrape all mention of NFT from your Discord. What is, and if you can't speak to this, totally fine. But like, what is the sort of procedure there in order to actually get into the App Store as a kind of like Web3 project? Is it involving? Do they do these sort of like individual like audits, right, of all of your different sort of your socials, your actual website, Discord's included, right? And then on top of that, when it comes to like them kind of nudging you, like you got to get rid of all the NFT mentions, right? Like how does that happen? And is it just is something explicitly laid out in contract? Is it also generally? I would love to hear what in those conversations, if you have any insight, what is like the corporate side from the major tech companies, and the perspective that they're kind of sharing.
It's twofold. I didn't do the application process. That was done by the CEO of the company. I know that Apple is very strict, and I've had an app before that we built that we tried to push through the App Store, and just any mention or speculative mention of NFTs was an automatic red flag. And this was just for something that was tracking floor prices. So I can't imagine that us having actual NFTs as part of the game was something that they would have allowed or easily passed. So I think it was more of a precautionary detail that we just obscured, and we didn't really want to throw up any red flags. Now, since we applied, the Google Play Store has I think was their prerequisite, which is not something that we would ever do. So that kind of gives us the green light there. We also have a token in game, like similar to like Robux, and we wanted to have an offboarding process where you could actually, sell your in-game doubloons for ETH or for US dollars or however you wanted to cash out. So the news recently with Ripple has kind of helped hopefully give a little more clarity with what we can do in that regard. But Apple and I don't think they've relaxed their view. They do not want any part of NFTs or NFT purchases within applications. I still see a lot of apps that are just stuck in test flight that just they just record the floor prices for NFTs. They're very strict with their process, and they're wary right now. Now, I'm sure they'll be fine with it once they realize the opportunity or once they get their cut. But for right now, they think it's a way to circumvent, I think, their 30%, and they do not want any part of that.
I think the 30%, of course, it's major for them, and that's probably reason number one. But when it comes to things on the Apple side, the way I've also always thought about it is that when you put that much of an emphasis on product marketing and being so pristine in terms of all of that delivery, they don't even want association with something as kind of I think uncool in a sense or unpopular as NFTs and Web3. Right? It's not Apple prides itself on being cool, right? On being the it product, it being sleek, presented, perfectly, and on top of the risk to one of their major business models, it's also just it's not considered cool by the right people for them to also want to be able to push it along in that regard. But that's obviously that's huge just speculation on my part, but that's the way I see it as well.
Yeah, well, they want their money. I think the money is cool to them more than.
And that always comes first. Always comes first.
Yeah, and I mean the Discord thing was twofold. I mean, for us it was precautionary, but also we gained a lot of players when we did our test markets, and we didn't want people coming in and people just talking about floor prices and trading as well. So we sectioned that off to another part of the Discord, and kind of changed some of the wording in the main group, so you couldn't say certain words, just because people were going to come in who have no idea what NFTs are, and we want to introduce them to them, but we don't want to shock them. You know what I mean? NFT is a dirty word. Web3 is a dirty word. A lot of this stuff is maligned in popular culture. Either they don't know about it or they've just heard bad shit. So we don't want people to have a bad taste in their mouth when they're coming into our Discord for the first time either. Of course, this makes NFT people very angry, but I mean, we're trying to onboard people and get them using NFTs and participating in Web3 in a game without them knowing it. That's the kind of goal here. And I always thought that was the way that we were going to onboard people, or the masses. It was just like you're feeding a toddler vegetables. You show them a cookie, and then when they open their mouth to eat it, you put the vegetables inside. Just like that. This is what's, you're going to like it. You just got to try it.
It's just always so funny to me too with this is that I definitely 100% agree with everything you shared, but then when you do the comparison of Web3 to similar technology, like what you see with everything happening in VR, right? VR is, in my opinion, right, it's inevitable, but also in the same way that Web3 a lot of the times is gross because of how commercialized everything becomes, and everything feels like it has to become its own economy. VR has had such a better marketing with it, even though at the end of the day, what do you actually really see going on in VR that's presented? You see flashy demos at coming from Apple and all that sort of stuff, but the reality is the gross VTuber concerts that everyone going to, and even though those people get made fun of, right? Those are people buying the product and making it actually worthwhile for these companies to continue to pursue. But because they're ridiculed and not hated, I think at the end of the day, that's enough. That's the bar to get to.
It's a high bar, though. It is but I hear you at this point, and just a little bit of context as well on the Apple side of the equation as well. The way Apple works is they have an editorial team, and whenever you submit, you have to go through their central App Store approval team, and it gets randomly assigned to a person, and they actually have a whole checklist of what they have to do to click through, and for certain keywords, certain elements that they should effectively flag. So this is kind of the weird way it works. It's not actually a very clear process. It's more about how can you hide enough of the information so that the initial person approving your app doesn't see it, right? And that's kind of the big thing here in this kind of design is that the way that a lot of the NFT apps got approved, they just hid that shit on approval, right? They just hid all that stuff. right? And then updated it, right, via the server side, right? And then shared all the right information in the flow. So that's actually how a lot of these NFT apps are able to get like into the ecosystem as well. But you're now seeing them do larger scrutiny. And I think really in the end, right, Apple is just scared if wallets come in, right, it goes around, right, the 30% cut, as you guys mentioned, right? But it's also a direct threat to all of their consumer spending, right? Apple's entire value proposition has been, and Google as well, on the consumer side is I own your credit card. Well, great. A decentralized wallet changes everything. A decentralized wallet means you don't own shit. And because of that, they lose all their consumer purchasing power, which is pure net margin for them as well, too. And this is kind of where, like, it's going to be very interesting. I think it's super bullish that Google is now like saying this because Apple will have to react, right?
Yeah,
And the good thing here is that it's going to force them to battle it out, but confidentially with 240 people here. The other important thing here is like understanding, right? Is that Apple's working on Web3 stuff legitimately. Like there is a Web3 wallet in works, right? I don't know when it comes out. I don't know if they're going to be interested in coming in, but this is why Apple's holding off. If Apple's going to come into Web3, I think they're going to come in with their own wallet, if not their own chain, right? Which is a kind of a crazy thing to say out loud. The question will beg is, how will they essentially deploy a fee against those wallets is literally the only thing they're trying to solve for right now. And, don't get me wrong, there are security risks, right? With like, tokens and off-chain and, off-ramps as well. So it puts Apple in a very precarious position, which I understand why they're being so cautious. But we'll see kind of how it plays out. I think in the end, like it is smart to be a first mover on mobile. Like, and this is a big reason why we're really big fans of what Jungle is doing, right? They're about to have a playable shooter, right? When they mint, in August, I think the playable shooter will be on the store within 30 days, right? Which is kind of a crazy thing to be able to do. But the question will now beg is, how do you sustain both a Web3 whale user base and a Web2 user base? And I think the advantage is that you can't treat them as two separate sequential funnels. You have to build them as two separate onboarding funnels at the same time, right? So like in your case with Castaway's Ham, right, the biggest problem is that your entire audience you onboarded initially is all Web3, right? So now when you're asking to pause them, they're like, oh, fuck, now it's the Web2 guy's turn. Oh, shit, now we have to wait. And essentially their speculative asset has lost prospective yield. Because they know the only way that this will ever have any upside is if you somehow go get 1 million DAO, and then maybe that gets people bullish on it again on the speculative yield side. But very directly, it kind of sucks for them, right? So the challenge now is how do you build two games at once, right? That's what I think the next wave of Web3 needs to figure out. How do you build an entire funnel and flow just for Web2 users? And how do you build an entire funnel and flow just for Web3 users? And figure out ways for them to interact with one another at key inflection points, right? And again, I don't even know what that product design is, but this was actually like the conversation we had over dinner is like, does a Web3 game even exist, right? Or is a Web3 game just lost in the concept of being a trader game with extra buttons, right? And that's what it does feel like in this market, unfortunately, because true gamers want content and fun, but true Web3 users want profits only. And if it's not profits, right, you're wasting their time. And that sucks because it means they'll never value your product experience.
Yeah, it's shitty.
I do think that there is like a changing tide in that's very, very slowly forming. Like, I mean, it's something that has to happen after so many people in this space get burnt out and after so many people lose money that, people flock away. But at the same time, once the space starts doing well again, the same traders will flock back. But I don't know, it's probably going to be cycles, and even in that regard, where it's just slowly like those two groups battling out. And I think until like true believers, ultimately do, hopefully win out in numbers. And with that respect, there's like, where I see that, because it actually reminded me of it. I know I spoke about Citadel, right? And I think that I definitely see it happening there. The only other area in the space that I do see it happening is actually over with Dom or DHoff's project.
Yeah,
right?
Wim. Yeah, Dom.
Dom Wim. But with OX Corruptions and what he's doing there, right? Which is, it's sort of now the initial collection for his upcoming sup game, whatever that is. It's very abstract and hard to even wrap your head around from what they have shared, right? But with OX Corruptions, it reminds me a lot of like saying what kind of goes on over in the Reapers Discord and the sort of like world building that's attempting to happen there, because the way that project was initially released, right, it was just purely on-chain communication back and forth via deployed contracts, right, where a community like which formed itself, community-run Discord. Dom never released anything, right, and just sending messages back and forth there, fundraising together in order to get those messages going back and forth, and actually, sort of with that, building out the world and allowing the users to make the decisions. The project's flown under the radar. The price of it is actually still, I think, at least in like ETH terms, at mint right now, funnily enough. But no one talks about it anymore because it doesn't get any traction. But just 2 days ago, it started back up again with like its third season, where Dom is now releasing new things in the contract. It ended last season with us as a community getting to decide whether or not we are absorbed into Dom's sub project, or if corruption stays as its own distinct endeavor that Dom would continue to work on. And then the community decided, hey, let's also join like SUP. It was put to community vote, and now it's just been absorbed into what is his like grander like main vision, and it's being ironed out from there. And now we're getting to make more decisions about what the world will actually look like in terms of presenting just general ideas and concept that he's now incorporating into some sort of AI model that he's put together. And it's super cool. Like that is like organic. That's actually what's going on in Web3 in terms of like what we want to see going on in Web3, in my opinion. And the only reason it works right now is because it's under the radar, because no one's paying attention to it, and because no one's making money from it. No one's buying the NFTs. If you got it right now, you got it because you bought it way back when, you stuck around, and you still want to actually like participate in what is like as you described, like Saint, like the actual product experience going on. And that's those tiny little areas where it's sort of they've pulled away from like crypto Twitter. I think at the end of the day has like saved their community, and I think has saved their community for success in the long run. Ultimately, because while of course marketing has like a huge value, the marketing that goes on crypto Twitter is just so inorganic and artificial. And I feel like I use the term all the time, but like just gross, right? That it's the people that it does attract are not actually going to be, good for the health of any project.
100%. I mean, that's a big reason why we're not like super active on crypto Twitter instead of like, outside of spaces here now. And that's kind of like the element you hit on the head, right? Is that crypto Twitter gets you top of funnel, but it's the wrong top of funnel. Those aren't the users you want to at all connect with, right? And it does create this poisonous thing, because it's actually funny. You brought up Dom, and I was like, dude, I haven't heard from Dom in so long. Because I remember Blitnots and a few other things. I remember like, I don't know what the fuck's happening with SUP. But I love the fact that you still bring up like, yo, we as OGs who might be around are just sticking around because in the end, we don't have to get phased with these stupid cycles of hype and sales and everything like that. We could just stick around. And this is kind of like the big experiment we're trying to do with like Lost Realms at this point. Is like and like Reapers and a few others is like, I'm trying to trick you guys to wait like fucking 5 to 12 months for the actual project and build IP before it, so that we kind of like shake out all the speculative nature to it. And it could still have speculative value to it, but it removes that as a core tenant, right? Or the only tenant, right? Because that's what all these products suck. Like when we see this is like, it sucks. Like when we even talk about Genkai, right? And this awful fucking mint structure, right? The other thing we're not even talking about is no one knows what this fucking product is, right? So all we could do is shit on it for its speculative nature, because all we got are 2 sentences that this is part of the CyberKong's ecosystem, no limits, no borders, or whatever the fuck that line was. Like, no wonder this market sucks. That's all we're getting. Like, you want to, like, if I want to double down on this, like, what the fuck is Azuki doing with $40 million? They had nothing else planned post-mint after taking in that much ETH. Like, there's been one public element out there as well, and, like, nothing's come out from that. Like,
that's not fair. That's not fair. They did that green bean thing.
Like, wait, what?
They did the green bean thing. They dropped green beans.
Oh, green beans. You're right. But we still have
That
green
value
beans.
was at least
First ever Web3 project with green beans.
That's true. That's true. I do not have a green bean yet, so I gotta step up. But like,
That's
yeah, it sucks. I apologize, King. I know when we take shots at everyone, one of you guys are gonna come out. My bags. Oh God, it hurts. But it sucks, man. Like it really sucks because I feel for all the Azuki holders, man. Like I really do. That's a amazing IP potential. But like I'm just saying though, like, how are we tolerating this? How are we tolerating a team that had $40 million on mint and was already sitting on 30 to $40 million before that, right? If you take in all their royalties and everything, like what's going on? Why does this team have nothing else? Why the fuck do they have nothing ready to go? Like it's mind-boggling to me. Why do I have more content coming out of our fucking ecosystem prior to mint than Azuki at $40 million? Right? Like, where the fuck's like, go make a comic, go fucking build some toys, like, fucking go do another fashion piece. Like, how do you not have a fashion piece ready again? Like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, and this bothers me, man, because all these guys taking all this fucking money and there's nothing to show for it. There's nothing to accelerate, right? And it's like I guess I don't know what else I should have expected. Right? We fucking went and minted Azuki 2 ETH on no understanding of what the art was, what the product was, what the utility was, what the value was, what the timeline was. Who does that? Who does that? You guys, we are the worst investors in the fucking world. That's what we are. We are the worst allocators of capital on this front. No one fucking would invest in that manner, but we did it. Right? We did it, and that's the insane part. So without going on too much of a diatribe, we could continue this conversation, but I do want to be very transparent. We are well over time on how long this is going, so let me at least get you guys a relic here, and if you want to stick around, we'll continue shitting on projects here because I'm down to shit for another 30 minutes on this shit because it bothers the fuck out of me. It bothers me to my core.
On the toilet. He's on the toilet right now. Weird.
I should just go all out, just be there on the shitter, shitting on companies, taking a shit because goddamn, that's what they're doing to us. That's what they're doing to us, dude. CyberCons is a fucking big middle finger to everyone. That's like, oh, okay. Well, let's go to the secret chamber before I get too upset. Okay, this one is, I think I call this Max Payne, because that's what I'm feeling right now. I just feel, and it's crazy, I don't have bags on any of this shit. That's the best part. I'm like so divested. Majority of my holdings are fucking in CryptoPunk, so I'm actually doing okay on that front. But literally everything else is sad. The poor Tribe Vault getting hit though with some of our dimensionals. All right, here, let's run this for. I'll give you guys this one for 33 seconds. All right, the password is 49534. The password is 49534. Make sure you use that / secret function 49534. Oh God. Okay, well, at least you got a relic out. If you guys need to run, feel free. Enjoy the rest of your day.
I haven't used a secret chamber in like a couple weeks. That felt
There
really
you
good.
go, man. When you're on stage, you got to do it. You got to do it. That's the thing. That's how it works. Now, this is this is a new relic for everyone. I could also give you the weekly spontaneous here. If you haven't got it, I'll give you another one there. But I thought it'd be fun to give you guys a new one. If you guys need to run, feel free. I really just want to talk for like 15 more minutes on what is the hope left in ETH NFTs right now. Is there anything you guys are hopeful about? Like I know, like we see Citadel. There's a project there. But are you guys hopeful about anything, Ham or Lemon Boy? Is there anything that's going to save this fucking market, or do we just need it to all go to zero and reset? Like, because that's kind of the feeling I'm getting to.
Yeah. That's what I was honestly. That is what I'm hopeful for. My main hope right now, and like again, like don't mean to offend anyone, but I really want to see DeGods and I want to see Meme Land like below 1 ETH, like easily. I think that would be wonderful for the space. I truly don't get on the DeGods front. Like it's some sort of like weird mix of Soho House and like Chip and Dale's dancers because I don't understand why you pay so much money to go to in real life events that is just dudes. And it is confusing to me. I've had interactions with like their founders and who their founders, Frank or whatever, is associated with garbage people, and I'm sure that he could like execute and operate and keep up a vision. But even still, like what I was talking about earlier, and like if Web3 needs to be cool, that's not the project that's got to make things cool at the end of the day and get our perception out. And then on meme land, I don't know, I mean, for meme land, I will say that like this is like off the record essentially, but I'm in a Discord, right? It's also from EtherWorks. Joined there from one of the guys, started up a little alpha thing. There's only like 30, 40 people. 9gag CEO was one of them at the time. Pretty much everyone in the Discord who wanted got meme land like whitelist like months and months and months ago, right? That man is all about extraction. Some of the things he was saying about like just holders in general and like what he thought of the space, like it's truly like gross. Like his perceptions, and like I can't even like share like the screenshots because I've been told not to by the guy who founded it. But at the same time, it's just I want him gone. I want everything gone. I was honest to God happy when Azuki slipped up, and I thought this is finally the tumble. And in terms of like the Telegram chats that I'm in with like the people that I actually like and enjoy in Web3, when that started happening, I was hopping in there right away. Boom! I was like, this is the beginning of what I want to see.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll give some soft counters here. I do think what Frank is doing on certain elements is interesting, and don't get me wrong, is it 10 ETH worth a clubhouse pass? Like, I think you could justify it. I think there is an element of cool that Frank has brought in, especially from Solana peeps. But also, I just want to say, like, Frank is honestly one of the weird people that like deserves a little bit more trust and has like not abandoned the trust of his holders at a pretty consistent rate. And weirdly, that's good enough to be a top project right now, right? Like that's the honest truth, is like that's enough. Is it driving utility in a meaningful way? No. Is there going to be any deeper product experience? No. But is it a way for groups of people to come together and feel that they're connected? Yes, I think so, and I think that's interesting. I'm very curious to see like how the next wave goes. So like I do want to just share that like healthy counter to that, but I think a lot of the points you still stayed like you said are still stand. Meme land. I mean, again, I have my own thoughts. I think Ray's done a great job in terms of selling the vision, right? Like as a salesperson on this front, right? I think the question now begs is, where's it going to go from here? And I like honestly like one of the most extractive things that I thought was really gross, and I'm curious to see because I haven't seen it actually happen, is that he's like planning to take his MVPs that he has in his treasury and then put them onto ordinals, and then is going to max mint those out at I don't know, like 30, 40 ETH equivalent or something like that, which I think is like gross, right? Like I don't know why you would do that in this market. But I don't know where that happened. I don't know if he's actually following through on that front. I'm super scared for meme coin. I mean, the only reason someone does a coin in this market is for extraction, right? It is straight up to get a huge amount of liquidity potential through a token sale. And I don't know why his ecosystem needs a token, right? I really don't. I don't know why anyone would want to build that out here as well. But, again, very interesting. And like, I will say though, I will agree with you on this holistically without like saying about any individual founder here. I do hope the ETH market does go to zero and reset. I agree with you on that front. I think it changes a lot, right? Which is a brutal thing to say out loud, but it's also like, to be very blunt, it's a major reason why I'm considering ordinals. And I don't want to say ordinals any better because a lot of these ETH influencers are coming over there, but it's a little bit more of a clean slate to kind of actually design for value. And it's very different value because fucking games aren't working on ordinals in any meaningful manner anytime soon. But there is something counter to the culture here. And this is kind of why, like, I'm intrigued to see where are, blue ocean opportunities, because this feels so red. And it just feels like, I don't know, like I'm tired of playing the game as well. And like, when I say I'm tired of playing the game, it's like, Oath is designed to play the game. right? It's not not as an extractive manner, at least. That's the great thing. Oath is a fucking free mint. So like you have a belief and there's like real product and IP behind it. But like I'm still playing the game of trying to share the potential floor price of Oath, right? And I also have to protect the floor of Diamond to an extent, right? That's what a lot of my product experiences, my product optimization is focused on as well. Like, and that's the thing that does suck, that I have to play this juggling game to a certain extent. But I do know if I play this well, it's going to allow us to have huge leverage in the next wave. And as long as I do it organically, right? Because that's the other thing people don't realize. We're probably one of the few like Genesis passes out there that's purely organically bought. There's no market making. There's nothing like this. We don't even do this, right? Like it's all very clean. It's a real floor price. There's not even staking on diamonds, yet there's such few listed, right? And that's crazy in a bear market. You know, don't get me wrong, any given week, like 1 or 2 listings might come out that change the number. But you guys realize if you just like, if we actually deployed like 20 ETH, like if we deploy all the ETH that we get on Soul Season 2, right? And we deploy that to diamonds, we probably take it to like an 8 ETH floor, right? Or 9 ETH floor on our own, right? Which is pretty crazy, right? And this is kind of where a lot of people don't recognize is that that's such a bullish sign, that it's so organic that this buy pressure that is needed to kind of tip this diamond into another trajectory is always available. There's just no point doing it now because in a market that is straight up bleeding, right? What's going to happen when people see it's a 10 ETH floor? And, you know, we've hit 10 ETH floor, 9 months ago, or 10 months ago, we hit even like an 8 ETH floor like 4 months ago, right? But what happens? Of course, people are going to undercut, right? Everyone's going to undercut because it's a bear market. So you also have to pick your battles here as well. But like a lot of people don't realize, dude, so many floors are manipulated. So many floors are being self-bought. Like this shit is such an ugly market too. And that's what people don't realize. Everything is botted. Everything is botted, right? Everything is fake impressions. Everything is fake followers, right? Like everything in this space is unauthentic, right? And then we're all like asking for authenticity. Why? We've literally let this market fuck us over and get manipulated in every direction, and then we ask for different results. Like we must be the insane ones, right? Because we're playing into this game and we're stupid as fuck. Like go look at all the dumbass ETH we sent Pauly, right? Go look at all the dumbass ETH we sent Ben, right? Like we all dumb as fuck, right? Like there's a lot of I didn't send, but you know, there's a lot of people who did. Like what the fuck do we deserve? Like, it just feels like this thing does need to nuke to zero and like start anew. And I don't know if it's even anew on like ETH. That's actually the scary part. But this is also like somewhat bullish part too, is that I actually think this forces us to go to L2s, right? Like at this point, the L1 game is so bad because it's literally run by influencer traders at this point only that we almost have to go to an L2 to be away from them. Right. And again, that means you're sacrificing volume. And that's the hard part, as well as we try to build an economic business. Right. We have to think, oh, like shit, like where's volume in this market? That's probably where we need to be building. Hence why we've been so focused on ETH L1 and also like ordinals. But man, the more and more I think about this, I'm like, fuck, maybe I should just be the first to go build like, I don't know, something legit on ARB, something legit on Optimism. Fuck, dude, get really depressed and start building stuff on Aptos. I don't know. Like it's starting to feel like those are better opportunities than building anything fucking here. And that's kind of the other like problem on it as well, is this whole design is just not going to be working here as well.
It is tough. It is just like thinking, especially like for me, it's like personally conflicting, right? With the whole idea of just, I'm a big believer in like fake it till you make it. Right, I think that's a great way to go about life, and I think that like there's legitimate studies that prove the benefit of it. But the amount of faking it till you make it that kind of happens in this space is scary, right? And it's sort of at a point now where it just feels like everyone's faking it just to fake it. No one actually wants to make it in the sense that they're looking to have their community thrive in any real like earnest way. Of course, everyone's in it for their own self-interest, and everyone has their own biases, but at the same time, to be so self-interested follow through on like the practices that you were just mentioning in terms of like generating artificial floors and artificial clicks on social media. Like, yeah, it serves a benefit, and you can make an argument that it'll serve a benefit, even for legitimate projects who are trying to do something real and know that they do have to play the game a little bit. But no one's playing the game for the right reasons, and everyone's playing the game for the wrong reasons still, which is, I don't know, it's just tough.
Tough. This market, we trained this market incorrectly. We played this game telling ourselves lies about this products. Like, I mean, just look at all the treasury and capital that's been raised. Is there anyone that when you look back and execute it and be like, wow, that was a great use of capital? Like,
Saint, I think you have to wake up your friend, Chancellor Galleon.
isn't Galleon over there? Isn't he starting it?
I don't know. Everyone's spamming chat here.
No, they're just trying. They're trying to get me to jump over. The stage is open.
Well, screw that, then. We want to talk still.
Yeah, if you guys want, you guys can jump over there, guys. Go join the Reapers debate. If you haven't joined one of the debates, it's okay if it's a smaller debate over there. We'll stay here for about 10 more minutes, and then we can wrap over. So yeah, guys. So feel free, guys. If you guys want, go over and go hang out with Mirrorman, and you can see, or with Senator Vega. And he will, especially if you haven't joined one of the debates, super valuable to go after. We're just here shitting on stuff, but we'll jump over to that debate in just a few minutes. Don't worry, guys.
It really is just like, go ahead, Ham.
No, I was just about my project, not my project, but I mean the company I work for. I mean, we stopped virtually altogether participating in the crypto Twitter kind of circle jerk, for lack of a better term. Not because it wasn't profitable. I mean, I'm sure we did pretty okay on secondary and royalties and stuff like that, but it was not the kind of players that we needed to progress the game. It was not what we thought that it was going to move this space forward. And we don't really participate in crypto Twitter anymore. Because it doesn't bring the players that you want or the people that you want to actually build something. Now it upsets people who bought, but all of our NFTs were distributed for free. We understand that people may have paid a good amount of money for them, but it's still, at the end of the day, we're long-term building. And we want to build something that lasts and something that doesn't just drain liquidity from the space and participate in these, I don't know if they're games, but I mean, it's the NFT culture is this kind of everyone's out for themselves. Everyone's trying to make that dollar, and that will destroy a company if you're trying to do something legitimate. So beyond like just our CEO shit posting every now and then to try and get people riled up, I mean, we're not really doing airdrops or any of those things that can then stir up the community, because that's, it's easy to do things like that. You know what I mean? It's easy to go in and get people excited and say, oh, participate in this fishing contest and you'll get airdropped this asset and this asset. And, what ends up happening is we have 100,000 bots playing the game and our numbers look fantastic, but it's not real. It's not what we really wanted. So it's funny. Yeah, the people who are most angry, Saint, you'll find this kind of interesting, are the people, there's this large community in Ukraine and in somewhere in Southeast Asia who are actually farming resources in the game and selling them OTC to people who owned islands and were building. So they were farming like fish.
You took their revenue. You took their jobs. You took their jobs.
They're so, and we didn't create this. We just put a trades channel up and everyone's OTC trading and making actual good money, selling like, hundreds and hundreds of fish for ETH and shit. They are pissed.
I can't believe you did that. I was literally half of the revenue for Tribe. We were fucking farming that shit. No. But like, it is funny. It is funny to see that, like these kind of economies get created. But yeah, man, I mean, and that's the thing, right? Is that they leverage your system to be able to get some revenue in an unintended way you designed it, but you still get FUD for it, right? When you remove that system as well.
It helps us create a better game design and you find out where there's loopholes, and it's really an interesting thing to build a game like live in front of people. You know what I mean? I know that I've worked on a couple games, but this is the first time it's been done like with an active audience playing it and providing feedback in real time. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
stressful.
amazing and awful, yeah, at the same
Yeah,
time. Yeah,
it's amazing
but
and absolutely terrifying and awful at the same time. So
yeah, these
it's
guys don't give a fuck about you. They just want, but it
exactly.
is the most powerful core loop. Like people don't realize how much like we actually read chat and are aware of this stuff because y'all don't realize half y'all are giving us ideas to design shit and features, right? And this is true for almost every good game company that's building live. You're actually getting these insane feedback loops. And you're just like, wow, I don't need AI. I need a live community that cares about this game. Bruh, like that is the best design engine I've ever seen, right? And that's the fun part because like I'm actually doing this next, right? Where, like Reapers is a total like insane design experience. I actually love it. And again, Reapers is killing it in the way that we're building for that, and we'll move over there and as well in just a second. But what's like really amazing about Reapers is you're gonna see this like live product experience come, and half of it's through your guys' ideas, right? Which is just nuts. Like it's gonna be totally based off what you guys choose. You're gonna see these like tomorrow, like in the next couple of hours, you're actually about to get. I'll give you some alpha here, right? Some of the missions are gonna have updates. You're gonna get a new financial budget. We're gonna see what was the state of our 2 missions where we deployed troops and what happened to the 3 missions that we passed on in wave 1, right? In vote 1. And these are all going to have these unintended ripple consequences, and we've literally turned lore building into a game. It's going to be super fucking fun. And after this, we're going to walk away 7 weeks and we're going to have this treasure trove of lore, right? Which is just a whole total new way of building a product experience where it literally is all of your choices. Like myself and Mirror, right, or myself as Chancellor Galleon and Sergeant of Arms Vega, we literally don't even know what you guys choose until 15 minutes before we reveal it to you, right? We're blind on this as well. We're literally playing the game with you, and that's the cool thing. And you could only do this with a live product experience, right? And this is what people don't realize is that there's so many new emergent gameplay and like ways to interact with product experiences now, right? Because you have a live audience prior to mint. This is like way better than greenlight access on Steam. This is like 100x better, but very few game designers know how to leverage it because they don't know how to do public comms, right? That's what kills them, right? And that's like weirdly my advantage because I say this a lot. Like, I don't like doing public comms. Like, weirdly, I don't. I've trained myself to do this for you guys, but I like sitting quietly in my fucking room with music, building, writing, creating. That's it. That's all I want to do. So even the first 3 months of Lost Drums, I never talked. Like I think I did 1 live AMA in the first 3 months, right? Because I didn't want to be bothered with it. But I then realized, fuck, this product is totally different when I build it live. If I give all these users the opportunity to be a part of it, right, there's actually a totally different emerging gameplay and a total different level of investment that I can give to you guys. And a lot of you guys already have different levels of investment. You might love the art, you might love the comics, you might love the lore, you might love X, Y, and Z. And that's like beautiful. That's like insanely beautiful of a product experience. And we haven't even minted this, right? We haven't even minted the core product experience. And there's already some love and connection with the IP. And because of that, I can't wait to give you the IP in your hand. And I can't wait for you guys to see which ones you get. And I can't wait for the choices that you make with those assets, because that product experience is going to be unlike anything else because we all got to be a part of this live. But, long story short, this market still sucks because no one wants to wait. No one has patience for good shit here in this market, right? And like, dude, people call like, dude, look, we deal with this all the time. People call us a rug because we haven't minted a free mint. Like, that's what the term rug is being thrown around. That's how impatient this market is, right? Which is hilarious, right? They don't give a fuck that we given out 2,000 ETH of NFT assets back to our community. They don't give a fuck that we do all these something as minting series to protect you on mints to fade or double down on. We get no credit for that to some of these fucking idiots that only want the speculative asset. And the worst part is those are the loudest people in the community, right? Those are the loudest people that complain. Right? Like, dude, we're even getting FUD from half these people that we've taken their alts away. Like, it's hilarious. They're mad at us. They're like, oh, fuck, they ruined my life. I had all these alts. I was going to do it, right? And, like, that's like, they're mad now, like, at us. Even though we let them keep their main account, right, which most projects do not do. Most projects ban all of your fucking accounts, right? But we're still getting shade left and right. And it's funny as fuck because even if I defend this community, I get total FUD, right, from those who feel that something was taken from them. And this is what's wrong with this entire market. We all take this privileged perspective that we have the right for everything, right? This is our right for us having your free mint, and you will do it on our terms. Right. And like they believe that, and they really do. And that's how they build and communicate with us, that we're like some fucking monkey for them. Like, give me my free shit that is going to give me ETH and is going to give you nothing, because I sure as hell am not going to pay royalties on your shit because I want that 5%. Fuck you. That's literally what we get from this community in a lot of times. Right. I'm not saying all of you are like that. A lot of you are actually quite amazing here at this point. Right. But this is the problem, though, is that we really run into this problem overall because in the end, oh, god damn, like no one understands how hard it is to survive in this bear. And dude, all these companies are dying, and diamonds know, like our diamond users know how healthy this company is. Like people don't realize how healthy we are, even though we have not, rugged people for ETH. Right? We have taken less than 300 ETH in the last year. We are so fucking cheap compared to fucking everyone else in this market. And on that 300 ETH, every diamond holder is above mint, right? Everything, right? And this is kind of where this whole opportunity is so amazing of what we're building. But because I didn't hit the weird expectation or obligation put onto us by one person, right? That leads to FUD. And it doesn't bother me. I can handle this shit, dude. Like, you guys can come FUD me. Bro, you come at the king, you better come correct, because I'm going to fucking come right at you, right? I want to know what I'm doing wrong, and I'm going to give you fucking argumentations left and right on it, on how stupid you are, right? Because, like, I legitimately think we are doing everything at a fairly high quality level. But if you try to come at me, bro, you better come with all your ammunition. And dude, all these people with alt accounts, bro, they've been trying to come at me. They have some of the dumbest fucking arguments I've ever heard. Like, some people are like, why does it make sense if we lose an account, we put in the hours across multiple accounts, we should be able to do it as well? That's fair, right? I'm like, how is this your argument? How is this your actual opportunity to like go like, yeah. You're right, man. Thank you for building a bot that could allow you to get 5 different relics for 5 different accounts. That seems fair, right? They're like, yeah, that seems fair. Like, fuck off, right? And these guys don't realize that if they're going to come at us, right, they better have real good ammunition, because the difference here is I'm a founder who's willing to go to battle for this shit. And I'm a founder who's present in my community every fucking day. So you better have really good ammunition if you coming at us, because in the end, I have to protect this community at all times, right? And very few people understand that. It's a super hard challenge, and it's exhausting, right? But that's why I face any FUD comes up, bro. I face it first up, like literally right there, because that's the only way I can protect this community. After that, it goes to shit, right? If you don't address it heads up. And this is what kills other founders, because they don't know how to address it in real time.
I think that given sort of like my perspective is just like, a buyer in the market, and like from what you guys share as, people actually, working in the field, I think it's so interesting because it's because what I want right now is sort of in some ways what you're experiencing. Right, saying what you're just discussing is that like it feels to me as though like building in Web3, it's like it's not like just about like building in public. It's literally it's building in public like while naked. Like it is like pretty fucking raw in that respect, where like you are going to be like bracing the elements with everything that gets thrown at you at the end of the day. And as someone who is like, been in the space for some time and is left feeling jaded by it, I want that because, what really comes from it is not only just like, sheer transparency around, what is being built and being worked on by the project. But it's become very important to me to recognize character in the space because of how many bad actors there are. And like that, what you do walks that line where it really presents everything that is happening, everything that you are building, and additionally adds in like the personal element, almost like that kind of like social media pseudo relationship type of thing, where I also feel like in some ways, yeah, I get saying, like, I understand where he's coming from. Like, yeah, he's a good guy at the end of the day, right? And that's kind of what is sort of needed, in my opinion, is like that extra element where it's like it's not that you see people like in this space and who are building as like these like untouchable celebrity types, right? Who get nothing but like praise and acclaim like across like Twitter and like for doing like the bare minimum. And then the same goes with their projects. It's like there needs to be more now, I think, at the end of the day. And I think like that certain like authenticity, it comes in a lot of forms. It's like why we see certain shit coins like take off, like Harry Potter or Obama, whatever, right? Like right now, like the stuff that they post on like oh yeah, sorry, my apologies. I forgot the formal title. But the just what's happening there, like the organic aspect and angle that you see coming from the community, and like the way that they treat things, and the skits they post on like Twitter, where it's not coming from these like 100,000 follower accounts. It's coming from these like 200 follower weirdos who are drenching themselves in blue paint and doing skits with like their I don't know creepy uncles. It seems like it's like stuff like that. Like, hey, at least that's real. At least that's human. And there's a certain reward that I like to see from the market at large from something like that coming around.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of what I'm trying to do, and I appreciate your perspective there, right? It's just like, how do I build trust where you actually think I'm protecting you because I'm putting you in front of our own needs, right? Like that's kind of what I'm trying to get to. I'm not saying we've accomplished that, but that is like what we're trying to deliver, and that's the real reason. It's like, what does trust look like in Web3? Like, honestly, trust is protect you, right? Like, that's what real trust is at this point. I have to protect you with every decision. I think what real trust is find a founder whenever they have to make a decision. The first question they ask is, what does this do for my community, right? Like, what does this do for my community moving forward, right? How does this impact them? Like, that's what I want every question I consider to do. And I do this as well for like every sub part of my community. Like diamonds know, right? Like every product I design for, like for diamonds, I'm giving them a scenario on both the upside and protecting their downside, right? So like for Tabula Rasa, all diamonds could have got a free mint, right? And like that's like really interesting, right? It's a free mint, but it's different. It doesn't hurt the paid mint users. They have to lock it up. Like you guys, like, dude, you want to know the craziest thing I'm about to unlock for Ronin? Like, this is what's crazy. So Ronin is a higher paid mint, right? Because it's just the meta on BTC, and bro, it ain't cheap for what we're trying to allocate. I mean, again, it's not insanely expensive, but we're putting low six figures into this play, right? And there's like acquisition for sats, there's inscription fees, there's totally custom art, which is crazy. And what's crazy is that we're gonna mint this, and like we know it's crazy to ask for a paid mint. So you know what we're gonna do? We're going to offer we're calling it an honor bound mint. So we don't know exactly the days. I think right now, the number is 21 days for like BTC meta. The idea is that you could mint this paid mint, and what's crazy is that you have 21 days for a full refund, right? If you want for any reason, like you don't believe that we're executing at the level here, we will fucking return your mint completely, right? And you have 21 days for it, which is literally the most rockiest moments for any fucking product to execute through on 21 days on a paid mint. And the cool thing then is we'll buy it back and it creates a natural deflationary element on the supply. So those who may still believe if, say, there's like 3 scenarios here. We do really well. We're well above mint. No one gives a fuck and no one's going to take the refund. Great. That's a great scenario for all of us, right? The second thing here, right, which is really interesting is that, hey, we mint and we're like just hovering around this and people are like maybe scared at 21 days, like, oh no, we're only like, 20% up on this. Maybe this dumps. This might be my only way to get liquidity back. I want to go play something else. I'll take the refund here at day 21 or whatever it may be. Great. Like they could do it. But what's cool then is that there might be only like 30% who take it. But that means the 70%, the supply just gets dropped down as well on that front, which is really cool. And then in the worst case scenario, right, where we don't execute, we return all funds, right? Like everyone's like, fuck this. Like, let's go get rid of this. And this is like the beauty of this. It's like a reverse. Yeah. Like it removes dump pressure and reverses it. And like we're taking a 6-figure risk on this, right? And in the middle of bear, like if we fuck up, we fuck up, right? And we're gonna own it, right? And I ain't gonna look at you as like, oh, that's the market. Like, goddamn, any founder who says that, like, I heard Marcus say that about Garbage Friends, like, oh, this is a market. Then why the fuck you minting in this? You got to protect your users for that. Like, you should take that shit on. Like, why isn't that not your number one thing? That if you think the market's as bad, then why are you fucking minting in it? Like, get the fuck out of here, right? Like, dude, that's not a good excuse anymore, right? And like, this is the same thing, right? Is like, no one's really trying to solve this up, right? And that's kind of where like I take this in like a very like as honorably as I can. I do believe Ronin is going to be a fucking top 5 project on BTC. But if I don't even come close to that, I don't deserve any of your money, right? And I will fucking refund it back. And that whole design is just because I want to build more trust with you. I want to build trust with each and everyone who gets an access to it. And that's nuts because like I said, Ronin is, it's not cheap for BTC, right? Remember 0.01, 0.02, 0.03 BTC, that's $300, $600, $900, right? That is not easy to pull off for a lot of people in the liquidity in the market, right? And because of that, we need to be conscious of this design. And this is kind of where I'm trying to always get this right. And again, if we, I'll say the dev died. That'd be pretty hilarious if I use that. Dev died, looking to sell project. Anyone want to help, right? But that's the cool thing is that, and the other reason why I love this design, it allows you who are those who maybe don't have the traditional capital to take that risk for the first time, right? Like if you guys, if you're like, we were talking about this framework of like whales, dolphins, minnows, right? You might be a dolphin and you're like, fuck, I don't really have like whatever, like let's just say arbitrarily 1,000 USD. I don't have that usually to like risk. That's like my entire bankroll. But now what we're effectively doing is like, hey, you can put your bankroll in this and guess what? You have return, right? Which is great. And that's kind of a huge opportunity because it's only 21 days. We have to like be, or whatever the number we end up choosing, right? But effectively, right, like at 21 days, that's like the hardest hurdle for mints, right? Or whatever the number we end up choosing. I think that will be the number, but we'll finalize it here. And the beauty about this is then it gives those of you who might traditionally not have the risk appetite to actually take a larger swing. And if we connect, we connect and we all win, right? And if we don't connect, you could preserve your fiat and get it back. The nice thing about BTC is the fee cost for transfers of funds is super cheap, right? It's nothing that you have to deal with in regard to fucking ETH as well. So this is kind of the other thing, right? Is that we're trying to keep scaling and we're trying to find different ways to solve this decision. And that's kind of the beauty in this design. And like the crazy thing, it was funny. I was actually talking about this with one diamond holder. They're like, you know what? I could probably make profit off this. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you know what? There's probably going to be a lot of people who can't afford this and they might win whitelist. right? So what I should do is I should fund their mint, and then I get 50% of the net profits whenever it sells, right? And if it goes under, right, from mint, we could just sell and I get all my money back. And it becomes kind of this no risk or like low risk play. Like, oh fuck, that's actually really interesting. I never thought about that. But you could actually now fund other people's mints, and you're not just basing it off the speculative upside. You're basing it on the fact that you got 21 days to make this shit going, right? And that's kind of like a really interesting thing here in this kind of opportunity in this structure, is that it's allowing more people to get access to stuff that they traditionally wouldn't get access to, while having confidence and not fucking their bankroll, right? And I don't know if I could design anything better than that, and that's kind of what gets me really excited. So, guys, I know we've been talking a lot. Ham, Lemon Boy, really appreciate you guys. We'll definitely do more of these like ones. I will definitely give you guys the weekly spontaneous relic here real quick. Yeah, Ham, Lemon Boy, feel free if you guys have anything else to share while I kind of wrap up this relics here for the community.
No, just thanks, man. I always appreciate the platform. I like talking about kind of what it's like to build a game in Web3. I know we have a different approach, but I mean, I joined Castaway's Discord and I joined this Discord at the exact same time, and I have been. I mean, it might be the two Discords I spend the most time in.
I love it, man.
You're doing a great job, and I do want my king, and I'm pissed, but
soon, man. Just like, can you just tell fucking all these guys, these blue chips, not to keep fucking the market over, and then I'll give you a king.
I can't, man. They're gonna keep doing it as long as people keep giving away $40 million for almost no fucking reason. I mean, they're gonna keep going. So I think everything should go to zero. Everything needs to be reset. I agree with both of you.
And you guys, crazy thing is, people don't realize. You don't think I don't want to give you guys kings. That's the fun thing I try to tell them. Like, you guys realize my only upside is when these kings actually go out, because I get treasury of these kings and I actually can make profit. We've literally put like, we calculated it out. Like, the entire Lost Drums franchise has already like gotten over $1 million in investment, like $1.3 million in investment thus far, and we haven't made a dime off of it.
Somebody who's minted before, though. I've minted a project before. I mean, it's like having sex in the relationship, man. It just changes everything. Sometimes you just want that pre-mint Discord is the greatest place on the planet, and you've somehow managed to maintain it and keep it. It's like fucking never land in here.
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to trick you guys all here to stay. We'll never mint. That's the whole trick now, man. I mean, dude, I want kings in your hand. Dude, I want these reapers in your hand. Bro, these Fury 1-of-1s are fire. Oh, and then, man, the Ronin are gonna look sick. Like, we're working. Dude, you guys haven't seen like the full 3D cars in Fury. Like, there's so many cool assets.
It's coming. He's just, he's had your best interest in mind. Somebody wrote in there, something is not happening. I almost fell off my chair laughing. It was I thought that was so funny.
That's what it is. So nothing's happening here, guys. We are just
remember that. Everybody who's in here, embrace the fun. Take control of it. No one can hurt you if you take control of it. Anyway, thank you so much, guys.
I appreciate it, man. Here, guys, real quick, for those of you in the secret chamber, this is for Spontaneous Soul 716. The password is 98745. The password is 98745. Make sure you use that /secret function. You got to use that. Ham, I don't think you used it, man. 98745. Make sure you enter that in. And then separately, I'll give out the max Payne again if you came into the second half of this, so you guys can have this as well. So this will be the same max Payne that I gave out a little bit earlier, about like 45 minutes ago. But of course, want you guys to all get access to more of these relics. All right, that password is 02734. That password is 02734. All right, everyone. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Ham, and our boy Lemon Boy sharing with us here as well. I hope, again, in this world, realize there's still a lot of founders need to do a lot better job, right, in this market. And we have to be conscious of this as well too in this design, is that, hey, this market isn't treating you well, be safe, right? Cybercoms, awful mint structure. Garbage Friends, also awful mint structure. Azuki, awful mint structure. Ether, awful mint structure. I mean, we're 5 for 5 on awful mint structures, right? And this is kind of the thing you have to understand, is that this is going to have a huge ramification on the market. The amount of Azuki whales that have left is huge, man. Like, people don't realize how big of a loss that was, of a 200 million plus market cap loss. That's brutal, man. People lost 50% of their net worth, right, on one play. And that's what people don't realize. It's the swing. They lost 50% of their market cap, their net worth, when they were expecting to increase their net worth by like 20 or 25%. Right? That's what a lot of these people were thinking here as well. And boom, this is kind of why it gets incredibly a struggle, right? Is, I don't know, man. I just wish we had more founders who are thoughtful, and no one's thinking long term here, man. And it sucks, I'm dealing with it even with like internal founders, AMA partners that we have. We're trying to find all these different ways here to kind of, improve, but fuck, man, it's a tough time. So be safe. Make sure that, you're putting some exposure on other chains. Start looking at other chains right now, right? I like I said, I'm big on ordinals, but I wouldn't be looking at ordinals if you have like small wallets right now. Like, if you're a minnow, don't mess around with ordinals. It's not worth it. The only ones that are going to work on ordinals are going to be more of these larger, high price mints for now, right? But definitely take a look at Solana. Take a look at some Polygon plays, and we're going to do our best. And remember, the marketplace, you can now add Solana and BTC wallets. So make sure you do that. We're going to keep working on it as well. All right, everyone. We're going to let you all go. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll chat soon. Bye-bye now.